This is Hong Kong. And this is Sam Say, a retired steel broker who's made his fortune in Hong Kong. Earth Report travels with him to Laos as he searches for new investment opportunities in the country of his birth. Sam's already gambled $4 million on a coffee farm. He wants to bring coffee from Laos, once championed by the French as the best in the world, to the fashionable cafes of Hong Kong. Sam's not the only one betting on Laos. Foreign investment into Laos has quadrupled to $4.3 billion last year, most of it going into the commercial exploitation of resources. But Laos is one of the last biodiversity treasures in Southeast Asia, boasting the highest number of large mammals in the region and over 50% of the world's vascular plant species. The question is, will it all be further threatened as this cash turns the land into capital? Sam Say is an exile from Laos.
Our family left Laos in 1977 as refugees. So we ended up in a camp in Thailand for 2 years. We lost everything we owned. Laos was not in my heart at all for a long, long time. At times in the past I struggled because coming from Hong Kong and also in Canada and the US and coming back to a very, very poor farming community in Laos, I've also come to accept that I am a citizen of the world.
Sam, like many refugees, fled the communist takeover in 1975. His journey back to Laos is not only a matter of the heart, but of the head too. Laos is resource-rich, but grindingly poor. The size of the UK with only 6 million people, every second child in the rural areas is chronically malnourished. Now, with his coffee business set, Sam's looking for other ways to invest in his homeland.
At this stage of my life, an investment has to be ethical. It has to consider more than just making a profit. It's about investing in people and making it better for people, and also to promote biodiversity so that the environment will be well cared for.
As Sam drives to his coffee farm, he passes through a 250-hectare single-crop plantation of well over 100,000 rubber trees.
These large plantations of rubbers, you can drive all day and still keep driving. This is how large they are. From a commercial point of view, these plantations, they are impressive. They're done very well managed. But again, they are single crop.
This land would once have been covered in natural forest, rich in biodiversity. Since the 1980s, logging and converting land to single crops, such as rubber, has slashed forest cover here by 15%. In the last 5 years, it's accelerated as foreign investment floods into the country.
Looking at the large-scale monocropping plantation model, what I'm fearing is that we will lose the biodiversity of this country and also a way of life for our people.
What we're seeing here is about 1,000 hectares of monocropping of coffee, and it's chemical dependent for pesticides and chemical. So this is one of the major concerns when people come in and invest big money and do monocrop and just inject a lot of chemical into the soil.
Development is happening apace all across the country. The Laos government is transforming the capital, Vientiane, refashioning the riverfront. But its policy on land use and the sale of concessions is complicated. As acting head of the government's National Land Management Authority, Chantavi Intervong has a struggle on his hands.
There are already more than 1,030 projects already approved by the government in the country for investment into tree plantation or agroforestry plantation, including rubber. But most of these projects is a land speculation. The government has to slow down or stop the new approval of new concession, because we found that there is already too many already, but the concession has been issued without the proper land use zoning plan.
But for the foreign investors, it's just too lucrative, and the government needs the money.
So this is all coffee countries now.
If you have money, you are welcome to invest in the land development in the country. But if you are a big investor, you got a special lane, fast lane. That's why most of it seems that like foreign investment get more privilege than the Laos.
From a steel trading commodity background, I know absolutely nothing about farming. So the internet was a great tool to learn the very basic at the very beginning, connecting with consultants who know about farming and also organic farming. This is very interesting, all the cherries.
Sam has 67 hectares, 130,000 coffee trees.
The soil is very workable. With our population base, we really don't need to do large-scale farming, but to focus on quality and higher prices.
Matured berries.
I see.
It's a small farm. Sam will have to triple the normal coffee yield per hectare. He needs 100 tons to break even. He's relying on organic farming to increase productivity and replicate biodiversity. He produces his own fertilizer and plants shade trees and cover crops to nourish the soil. Even that's not enough. He can't grow enough coffee himself. He trains other local farmers to grow coffee his way to get the amount of coffee he needs. If the plan works, in 3 years, Sam will get his 100 tons.
Anything above that is going to be pure profit going forward. So if we can do 200 tons, we'll probably be generating about a 1.5 million US per year profit. There are friends who are interested in what we're doing and interested in purposeful investments in country of Laos. So I'm heading up to the north of Laos to see and to explore what are available and what people are doing up there, and hopefully to learn from existing model that we can perhaps apply here as well.
On Sam's trip north to Luang Nam Ta province, near the Chinese border, he travels with the expert botanist and small agribusiness specialist, Dr. Soon Tuan. Sam wants to see how farmers there are turning their land into capital and if it meets his criteria for investment. But it's a tricky area for the foreign investor, a place where anything can happen.
Transportation, huh? Yes. Just running a little bit and then can collect back. Yes, collect back.
On the way, a surprise that delights the botanist. He spots a plant he doesn't recognize.
Medicinal plant. I'm trying to look at the inside, if it's white or red. I think this could be a medicinal plant. Okay.
Medicine plant.
Talking to a local confirms Soon Tuan's suspicion that it's a medicinal plant. Its wood is boiled, then used as a cure for stomachache. This is one of thousands of undocumented species in Laos. Many here cherish such rich biodiversity.
Aitan, is this a new species?
This is for me is a new species. For me or for my institute also.
Sam and Sun Torn arrive in Hue Zai in Bokal province. It's the Golden Triangle, where Laos meets Thailand meets Burma. Investment is flooding in, bringing Chinese casinos, tourists, cash. The Golden Triangle, once notorious for its role in the opium trade, has now become the Wild West of investment. And for many here, it's rubber. Farmers and investors are betting that demand from China's motor industry will outstrip supply. So rubber is being planted here at one of the fastest rates in Asia, a lot of it illegally. It's a sight that upsets Sun Torn.
As a botanist, I've seen many parts of Laos, and I don't think the country manages its biodiversity properly. This is because many people ignore the biodiversity policy laid out by the government. This slope is steep, between 35 to 40 degrees. It's too steep for planting rubber. This is contrary to the land use classification and illegal.
But not everyone is planting illegally. Investors, such as the Laos-China-Japan Trading Corporation in Hue Zai, have been working with local officials to identify small landholders to invest in. One of the partners, 78-year-old Antonio, was trained in his teens as a kamikaze pilot. Luckily, they ran out of planes before he could fly.
After
11 years and nearly $800,000 of investment, we have 31 villages. That's nearly 2,000 families, all contracting to plant rubber with us.
Every farmer gives only a part of his land over to rubber. It's an alternative to the big monocrop plantations, and biodiversity is preserved.
Latex.
If everything goes well, when the rubber trees are in full production, I'll need 1 year to get my money back.
The company provides farmers with rubber saplings and technical help, and buys the rubber latex when it's tapped. The farmers supply the land and the labour. The split is 70-30 in favour of the farmer. On paper, a good deal. Or is it? Growing rubber is tough. It takes 7 years for rubber trees to mature, and the seedlings demand